News Night on DD India and DD News, your prime-time destination for news and bespoke analysis. It's good to have you again with us. All right, on the show tonight, a brand new crisis in the grand old party. High drama at high noon as the Congress Working Committee met to decide who will lead the party. Now, this after interim President Sonia Gandhi offered to quit and asked the committee to select a new party chief. The meeting was held in the backdrop of at least 23 senior leaders of the party writing a letter to Sonia Gandhi calling for sweeping changes. The letter asked for a quote-unquote full-time and effective leadership in elections with the parties at all levels. In National Congress, can the Congress party be rescued from itself? Is it true that there is no alternative? Should it be family? We'll delve into these questions in detail. Also on the show, the latest on the parts of India and a continued the race with the White House. Plus updates abroad, all that and much more coming now. But first, as always, the headlines. Congress Working Committee meeting as chorus of dissent grows loud. Sonia Gandhi to remain interim president till the next session. Spokesperson Randeep Surjewala asked party leaders to reframe paths in the media. The Congress flip-flops on Twitter. Kapil Sibal deletes a tweet about Rahul Gandhi accusing Congress leaders of colluding with the BJP. This after Randeep Surjewala clarifies that Rahul Gandhi has neither said a word of this nor alluded to it. First resign if those people can. The PM Cares Fund allocates money for 500-bed makeshift hospitals at Patna and Muzaffarpur. Hospital at Betha in Patna inaugurated. Union Law Minister and MP from Patna Sahib Ravi Shankar Prasad thanks Prime Minister Narendra Modi for it. Heavy rains inundate low-lying areas of Gujarat. Flood situation in Bihar remains grim as over 83 lakh people in 16 districts. UP government sets up 200,000 relief camps. Met morning for the Prime Minister Modi leads the nation in paying tribute to former Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on his first. Home Minister Amit, a friend of friends and a politician parallel. Jaitley is remembered for pushing through the historic Goods and Services Tax Law. The COVID-19 recovery rate in India climbs to 75.7%. Fatality rate to 1.85%. Meanwhile, global COVID-19 cases 2 crore and 35 lakh mark. The Republican National Convention is set to begin in. It will endorse Donald Trump for re-election as president. Team Trump shares a video on Twitter celebrating the India-US ties. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel hosts US Foreign Minister Mike Pompeo in Jerusalem. Pompeo was on his first visit to the region after the signing of the Abraham Accord. The two leaders discussed about expanding the peace in the region. All right, let me dive straight into our cover story. Rudderless and leaderless. That's the Congress party for you. The 135-year-old Indian National Congress, which, by the way, is the principal opposition party in India today, cannot decide on the name of its leader. Should it be Sonia Gandhi, her son Rahul, or someone from outside the family? The debate soon degenerated into mutual recrimination. Allegations flew thick and fast about who said what and against whom. Here's more. The Congress party was a divided house. A section of the party demanded collective leadership, but another reposed faith in the Gandhi family. According to sources, Interim President Sonia Gandhi offered to quit, asking the Congress Working Committee to initiate the process for selecting a new party chief. The committee has urged Sonia Gandhi to continue as interim party chief and to bring changes to strengthen the organization. The sources said the Congress Working Committee has decided to convene an AICC session at the earliest to start the process of selecting a new party chief.
The CWC unanimously requests Srimati Sonia Gandhi to continue to lead the Indian National Congress until such time as circumstances will permit an AICC session to be convened.
In her opening remarks at the video conference, which was called in the wake of a section of the party leaders seeking a full-time and visible Congress president, Sonia Gandhi made the offer to quit. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, who spoke after Gandhi, urged her to continue, as did former Defence Minister A.K. Antony. Singh and Antony criticized the letter written by some party leaders.
बात करने की स्वतंत्रता है, पत्र लिखने की आज़ादी है, लेकिन उसको प्रॉपरली पार्टी फोरम पे डिस्कशन होना चाहिए, पब्लिक डोमेन में नहीं जाना चाहिए.
It was a day of flip-flops from Congress leaders as reports emerged that some senior Congress leaders raised a banner of revolt against the leadership. Ghulam Nabi Azad, who leads the opposition benches in the Rajya Sabha, added to these rounds was wrongly reporting that in the Congress Working Committee meeting, he told Rahul Gandhi to prove that the letter written by Azad and others was in collusion with the BJP. Azad tweeted, and I quote, "Let me make it very clear that Sri Rahul Gandhi has neither in CWC nor outside said that this letter was written at the behest of BJP. What I said was, yesterday some Congress person had said that we did it at behest of BJP, and in that context I said it is most unfortunate that some colleagues outside CWC have accused us of collusion with the BJP, and if those people can prove this allegation, I will resign." It all began around 1 p.m. when Kapil Sibal tweeted that Rahul Gandhi had said some Congress leaders were colluding with the BJP. In an emotional outburst, Sibal said in the last 30 years he had never made a statement in favor of the BJP on any issue. Close on the heels of Sibal's tweet came a denial from Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala at 1:30 p.m. He said, and I quote, "Sri Rahul Gandhi hasn't said a word of this nature or alluded to it. But yes, we all need to work together in fighting the Modi rule rather than fighting and hurting each other and the Congress." At 1:47 p.m. came Kapil Sibal's U-turn. He tweeted, and again I quote, "Was informed by Rahul Gandhi personally that he never said what was attributed to him. I therefore withdraw my tweet." The ruling BJP reacted predictably. Senior BJP leader and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said the Congress's future was in darkness and nobody could save the party. Another BJP leader, Uma Bharti, slammed the Congress leadership. She said there was no credible face left in the opposition party.
कांग्रेस में सच बोलने वाले को गद्दार कहा जाता है। जब सिंधिया जी ने आवाज उठाई तो वो भाजपा से मिले हुए हो गए, उन पर आरोप लगा दिए गए, और आज जब गुलाम नबी आजाद और कपिल सिब्बल जैसे नेताओं ने आवाज उठाई कि पूर्णकालिक अध्यक्ष चाहिए, तो उनको कह दिया कि वो भाजपा से मिले हुए हैं। ऐसी पार्टी को कोई नहीं बचा सकता।
ये कांग्रेस का अंदरूनी मामला है। अब मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सदस्य हूँ। कांग्रेस जो करे वो कांग्रेस की अंदरूनी बात है, जिस पर मैं टिप्पणी नहीं करूँगा।
विपक्ष पूरी तरह से गायब हो गया है, आज उनके यहाँ कोई बचा नहीं है, तो ऐसी स्थिति में कभी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। हम सब लोग, हमारी सरकार की विचारधारा है, उसमें से हम हमारा एक साधारण सा किसी वार्ड लेवल का कार्यकर्ता भी राहुल और उनकी बहन से तो बेहतर ही होगा।
Gandhi seemed to have emerged all powerful after the 7 hours long marathon meet of the CWC, with the CWC authorizing Sonia Gandhi to go for organizational changes by AICC session. The dates are yet to be announced, but the big question is what remains to be read from the statement of Sonia Gandhi when she says that despite of the hurtful remarks, she has no ill will against anybody. With cameraman Kuldeep and AV Singh, this is Vishal Baristo, DD News, Delhi.
Well, let me walk you through some recent cases of revolt within the Congress party. Look, take a look at this graphic behind me. We're starting from 2020, going way all the back to 2014. First date is 17th August of this year, barely a week ago, when Sanjay Jha, who has since been suspended from the Congress party, claimed that about 100 leaders have written to Sonia Gandhi asking for a change in the party leadership. Date number 2, March this year, when another Congress leader, Jyotiraditya Scindia, quits the Congress party to join the BJP to deal another blow to the grand old party. Next date is 2016 October, when Rita Bahuguna Joshi questions Rahul Gandhi's leadership and promptly quits the Congress to join the BJP. Next date up is September 2015, when another Congress leader, Himanta Biswa Sarma, quits the Congress to join the BJP. He says, he famously remarked that when I went to meet Rahul Gandhi to air my differences about some issues relating to Assam, he preferred to feed his pet dog biscuits instead of listening to my appeal. Next up is another date. It is 2015 January, when a Dalit leader, Krishna Tirath, quits the Congress, citing indiscipline in the party. And last but not the least, the 2014 Lok Sabha election, when many leaders, including Karti Chidambaram, Captain Amarinder Singh and Kamal Nath, all asked questions of the Congress leadership. That gives you a sense of the revolt from within the Congress party. Now, moving on to the Congress in crisis now. The CWC meeting, a divided house, split down the middle, for and against the family. Rahul Gandhi objects to letter written by 23 leaders. Why? Because he has questioned the timing of the letter and also sought sweeping changes as per the letter demanded by the 23 leaders. Another example of the crisis is the fact that Kapil Sibal responds with a tweet. That's the Rahul Gandhi questioning the letter's timing. And Kapil Sibal responding with a tweet and deleting it afterwards. Here's the tweet. He says, I have served the party for 30 years and today you accuse me of colluding with the BJP. Seriously? Now, next up is another tweet from the other leaders in the Congress party. So that should give you a sense of where things stand in the party as we speak. But time for a very short break here on Newsnight. When we come back, we'll have guests over for a discussion in our In Focus segment. Keep watching Newsnight. Don't go anywhere.
एक भरोसे का हुनर उंगलियों को मिल गया, मिट गए वो फासले, वो वक्त भी बदल गया। रिश्ते पुराने हैं मगर मिलने के हैं ढंग नए, बदलाव के घुलने लगे अब जिंदगी में रंग नए।
हम जहां, हमारा बैंक वहां।
Presenting a new level of wild. Kia Sonnet, bookings open.
Now that's wild.
पहला अक्षर रट लो तो वैसे एक विद्वान होगा, पक्की होगी बुनियादें तो हंसे हिंदुस्तान होगा। करो शुरुआत करो, करो तो पक्की बात करो।
वंडर सीमेंट, एक परफेक्ट शुरुआत।
Welcome back. You're watching Newsnight on DD India and DD News. Time now for our In Focus segment, in which we're discussing about Congress versus the Gandhi family. Yes, Congress versus Gandhi family. Joining me are three guests: R.P. Singh, who is the National Secretary of the BJP, Chetan Singh, a Congress supporter, and R. Rajagopalan, a senior journalist. Also joining me would be my colleague Vishal Baristo, who covers the developments for us through the day. But if I can start with you, Chetan Singh, what we saw happen in the CWC all through the morning, afternoon and evening, was it an attempt to save the family or to save the party? Your thoughts?
See, we need to understand here categorically, it's a party which is 134 years old. On the top of it, their only objective is to serve the people of this country. That's the reason we have seen in the last 56 years what has happened, the kind of development which has taken place. And if you're going to look at in today's scenario, the current discourse, the kind of contribution they have done in terms of institutional building, capacity building, you are going to name very few. Third most important point, which is extremely relevant at this given point of time to interpret, is that what is happening at this given point of time is that you are only, and everybody is only focusing at one party and one family. On the top of it, you look at the number of president who has come up here and the number of presidents, non-Gandhi presidents who have occupied the top chair. So therefore, the senior most person who is occupying the chair right now, if you will look into it, Sonia Gandhi ji categorically said that her health is not allowing her to occupy the specific chair. On the top of it, they want Rahul Gandhi to become a party president. And now what is happening, Rahul Gandhi ji has categorically said no, because in 2019, when the debacle has taken place, he has taken the full responsibility on himself. So having said this, taking the responsibility, he asked the other leaders also to follow the suit. The many leaders on the top of it, you see, still he is very much active in regards to serving the nation. You have seen during the pandemic the kind of efforts which is doing it on ground. When you're going to look at the migrant labor issues, you're going to look at the economy issue. He has a discussion with Raghuram Rajan ji, and Raghuram Rajan has said that if the current discourse would like to take his help, he will be more than happy to help, extend the help. On the top of it, the kind of spectrum of issues which Rahul Gandhi ji has touched upon, specifically at this given point of time where the country needs him the most. So therefore, all these 23 leaders, they are looking forward for Rahul Gandhi.
Fair point. Fair point. Hold your thoughts, Chetan. I'll come to you in just a bit. But if I can bring in RP Singh in the discussion now. Mr. Singh, how should the BJP view these developments that took place in the CWC?
Well, Chetan referred to 135-year-old party, and he said that it's a party which has various leaders other than Gandhi as the party leaders. But let me remind him, he probably is not aware of the history of the party. Why did A.K. Dooms form the party itself, during the British regime? So probably that will help him to understand the party, and he's saying that the party has been serving the country. That party was made for a different reason, to serve Britishers at that time than serving the country. That was just the background of the A.K. Doom forming the party 135 years back. But coming back to recent history, Gandhis or Congress, they have become synonymous word, and then anyone outside Gandhi can't be a party president. That's very clear since Sonia Gandhi took charge after throwing Sitaram out of the party. Sitaram ji out of the party in a fashion we all know how he was treated, and thereafter it has been just Gandhi. Either Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi. Now probably they are waiting for some other leader to come and take charge, Priyanka Vadra or some probably his her children. But the issue is today that why this is the state of the party today, that they are raking up voices, and the moment they rake up voices, they are tagged as judges. They said they are allied with the Congress, with the BJP. Whether it was earlier leaders who later on walked out of Congress, or leaders who stayed within Congress. Leaders who have stayed within the Congress. Even today, although Mr. Kapil Sibal has withdrawn his tweet, the tweet is there, but he has put another tweet saying that since Mr. Rahul Gandhi has clarified, so I'm withdrawing my tweet. But the fact is that he was labeled. He was so hurt that he used to go and tweet on social media to say so. And it's not only him; it was Ghulam Nabi Azad also. It was Anand Sharma also. They are now out of this. A lot of 23 leaders who have written that letter. Now the question is, who opened that letter to the media? Obviously, out of those 23, one would have leaked a letter to the media. So, but moment they talk about anything which is internal democracy, you become a judge.
Fair point. I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Singh. But if I can bring my third guest in the discussion now, Mr. Rajagopalan. Mr. Rajagopalan, you've been covering politics for decades on end. Now, Chetan Singh there evaded a direct answer to my pointed question. Was this an attempt to save the family or the party? What would you say to that question?
Congress, Ramesh, is in a very bad situation. If I put a very harsh word, it is having an existential crisis. As Mr. Jairam Ramesh said it in 2014, not yesterday, today, 6 years ago, he mentioned that. Jairam Ramesh was the CWC member at that time. Now he is a special invitee. But at the same time, what all happened today, 7 hours meeting, there was no reply to that letter which all the newspapers yesterday put. 23 senior leaders have put question mark on the leadership. Why there was no answer from the Congress Working Committee resolution? Why there is no resolution? And what is the roadmap? Now, the country is facing a very severe pandemic. Instead of approaching that, the only one resolution is that we repose confidence in Sonia Gandhi, we repose confidence in Rahul Gandhi. So what is that? The meeting consisted of Ghulam Nabi Azad and Kapil Sibal. Kapil Sibal walked out in the sense, in a way, he retreated the tweet. He withdrew the tweet. After Rahul Gandhi has spoken to him, there was a damage control. So Rahul Gandhi has spoke something inside the meeting. That is why it has gone out of the purview. Who leaked that comment of Rahul Gandhi? So these things we have to understand. If BJP is going to do some, tinkering with Congress. Though my point, only 1 second you give me, Ramesh.
Sure.
My point is, Congress has no future. It is doomed. From 44, it has gone to 24. The 24, why I say 24? Kerala gave 10, Tamil Nadu gave 10. Otherwise,
no, sir, I strongly disagree with you.
But at the same time,
Chetan, hold on, I'll come to you in just a bit. Mr. Rajagopalan, finish quickly what you wanted to say.
So therefore, Congress is in a very bad shape. In 2024, I don't think that, Congress is going to give a tough fight to Mr. Narendra Modi. There is no opposition.
All right, point well taken. Chetan, you wanted to come in quickly.
For every democracy, we have to have
Ramesh,
strong opposition.
Sure, Chetan, go ahead.
Ramesh, when you talk about the democratic culture, you have seen this is a perfect example where the topmost leaders, they can write down a letter. And writing a letter, having a heart-to-heart dialogue over the communication, in a written communication, there is no harm. Rather, it's a recorded one. This is something which says the precedence. And you look at, the current discourse right now, how many people are there, senior leaders or leaders are there, who can have an eye-to-eye contact with the top leadership? So therefore, you will not want to find even none. One. Second most important point, these things are very irrelevant what Gopal Saab has said just now with regards to the election. Tell me, I will explain it how. You see, from 2018, 11 states have gone for the election. And out of 11, 9, the current discourse, BJP has lost 9 states. And Madhya Pradesh and in Goa, in Manipur, how they got the power, everybody knows about it. So at the time, we should not talk about 2025, what's going to happen. People of the country, they have seen that how the pandemic situation has been handled. People of the country has also seen how the job crisis. What Rahul Gandhi ji is saying. He is saying, and his entire top leadership, they are the followers of Gandhi ji. Principles of Gandhiji, and what is the objective of Gandhiji's principles and value system following is something. Let's have a dialogue. There has to be open.
Gandhi. What Gandhi are you talking about? What principles of Gandhi are you talking about?
Okay, so see, principles of Gandhi. When RP Singhi, you are saying this, we know it categorically. It is not just for the talk. It is to walk the talk. It's walk the talk means what? See, you tell me that how many nations have got independence in 1947? Our neighborhood, in our
Hold your thoughts. I'll come to you in just a minute if I can, provided time allows me. Mr. Singh, now we heard from leaders such as Kapil Sibal and Ghulam Nabi Azad. In your estimation, is this a manifestation of the old guard versus the young Turks, that these senior leaders fear a threat to their very existence if so-called Team Rahul comes in and usurps that space? Your thoughts?
If that is true, then what happened with Jyotiraj Scindia? What happened with Hemant Sharma? What happened with Sachin Pilot?
Right.
The issue is not the young leaders or old leadership. Issue is there's no leadership at all in the Congress today. But I feel it bad that there should be leadership in Congress because there should be some opposition leader. But there is no full-time leader in the Congress. And that's what the leader, all other leaders are saying, that we need a full-time leader. Man doesn't have time. Man is busy with 10 more things. I mean, he'll be accused of 10 more things which he is busy with. Is there full-time political leader? No. QT is just sending messages.
Ramesh, I also want to come in here.
It's not political leadership.
Mr. Rajagopal, let Mr. Singh complete his point and then I'll come to you.
Sir, today the problem is that there's a crisis within Congress of leadership. And the Congress present leadership is not able to manage the Congress, neither the workers of Congress. And when the people revolt or when people...
R.K. Singh Saab, can you tell me what is the status of Murli Manohar Joshi ji, Advani ji? He is a part of a Margdarshan committee, the committee which not even held a single meeting. So therefore, there is no point talking about and coming up with a blame game.
All right, let's not talk over each other. If I can bring in Mr. Rajagopalan now, very quickly. Mr. Rajagopalan, you wanted to come in and help our viewers understand. Do you see Rahul Gandhi as a consistent leader who is not episodic in his interventions, be it in Parliament or outside? And do you think his heart is there in carrying forward the family legacy, so to speak?
First of all, Rahul Gandhi is not a politician. He speaks untruth always. He goes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's seat and hugs him. Next day, he wrinkles his eyes. Today, he is criticizing the same BJP. He says, Vartalab hona chahiye, intolerant. Why Mr. Rahul Gandhi is intolerant when 23 leaders have written a letter? Why he criticized? All the 23 are plant of BJP.
Ramesh, can I come for 10 minutes, 10 seconds?
I'll come to you in just a bit, Chetan. Hold on.
Why should Mr. Rahul Gandhi say that? My understanding, Ramesh, having covered Parliament for the last 40 years and Congress party in particular 40 years, I say Rahul Gandhi jhoot bahut bolta hai. Therefore, he should stop speaking lies and he should not pro-China and he should not be antagonizing the Hindu community.
All right.
So these 3 points
point well taken.
That is why the crisis is taking place.
Absolutely. Chetan, quickly, you wanted to come in.
See, Ramesh, what we just heard from Sir right now is something which is absolutely bizarre. Why would I say so? You have seen after 2019 election debacle, he has taken the responsibility and he sought the same responsibility to be taken by other senior leaders too, who has not taken it. Second most important point.
He went to Supreme Court to apologize. He apologized in Supreme Court.
Sir, there is no point. Sir, there is no point coming down to this level, sir. We should not get into the lowest pedal of the discussion at this given point of time. We need to have a magnanimous discussion. Country of this, the whole nation want to see that, want to understand. Rahul Gandhi ji, what he is doing, he said categorically that he want to work on ground. And you have seen the way he has picked up each and every issue. On the top of it, again, I am telling you the kind of strategies, the nyay, which he came up with, the kind of economic, during this pandemic, he has touched base every aspect.
Right, Chetan, we're running out of time. So very quickly, Chetan, I want to ask you a very pointed question now. Rahul Gandhi has said in the past that he does not want to head the party. So what happens? Where does the Congress party go from here? Sonia Gandhi wants to quit. Rahul Gandhi does not want to take over. So where does the party go from here? Very quickly.
Okay, so you see, this family is one family who has given the maximum sacrifice, 2 sacrifices for this nation, and we know it on the top of it from 1885 till date. More than 80 presidents were non-Gandhis. How many prime ministers they have come up in during Congress regime? You know it. How many of them were not from the family? So having said this, there is no point framing it in this manner that this family is trying to leverage and they want to take the benefit out of it because they've been sitting on the top. It is not like that. The Gandhis are one who was following the principle of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Therefore, everybody respects him. Everybody is like to take them along with them.
All right, fair point. Mr. Singh, if I can bring you back in the discussion now, you raised a very pertinent point in that intervention there. But I want to ask you, now, Rahul Gandhi, relies on his family legacy, his family name, his surname, so to speak. And he symbolizes entitlement, as if by right he should come to head the party for the foreseeable future. Now that is antithetical to someone like Narendra Modi, who has come up from within the ranks and does not live off a family legacy. So is it that age of entitlement politics is over and done with?
The question to me?
Yes, Mr. Singh. Yeah.
See, Ramesh is very clear that Congress can't do without Gandhis, and Gandhis are not helping Congress to go further. I mean that's full stop. And I really pray that Congress would adhere to the letter written by these 23 leaders. The overall Congress party, I'm not talking about the 3 or 4 dining table people, Mr. Vadra family, to sit and chat on this, but the overall Congress party should seriously read that letter, understand this letter, and find out a way ahead. And till that time they find out a way ahead out of the Gandhis. Party is not, I don't think party is a bright future at all. I mean, with Rahul Gandhi leading a party, thank you. Mr. Chetan, keep promoting Rahul Gandhi. We'll be very grateful to you for promoting Rahul Gandhi as the leader of the opposition. That he suits us very well.
Okay, so Mr. Singh, can you tell me that will there be ever a woman president sitting on the top of the party from your side? You would not be able to get an answer to this. Therefore, this party is someone who is respecting women. They are taking along on the top of it this kind of a. No, this is very serious.
Calm down. Let's have a sober discussion on Newsnight. Mr. Rajagopalan, let me bring you in. Mr. Singh, I'll come to you in just a bit. Mr. Rajagopalan, I want to ask you about this age of entitlement. Now, is that a thing of the past? Because you have somebody like Narendra Modi who has risen up from the ranks, who does not rely on a family legacy. So, is Rahul Gandhi, the optics is wrong, isn't it?
No, Rahul Gandhi himself is wrong. Because 20 years, his mother was president of AICC. Now Chetan, the Congress supporter, was saying 85 leaders from 1850. But for the last 20 years, one family is ruling, because after 1991, Ramesh, I have been watching Congress very closely. They have gone from pendulum to pendulum. After 1992 Babri Masjid attack, the total focus on Congress was totally anti-majority community, that is Hindu. So that is why they got beaten up in 2014 election. And 2019 election was repeated.
Right.
Therefore, now today A.K. Anthony says we should not be following only one principle. We must also support Hindus. That is what A.K. Anthony report said. Therefore, Congress is having a policy crisis. Whether you are with China or not, we don't know. Whether you are with Hindu or Muslims, we don't know. Whether Congress is with them or not. But at the same time, Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Madam Sonia Gandhi, both of them who are on bail on National Herald case, criminal case.
Can I comment?
Speak about any other thing.
No, I'm running out of time, so I want to leave our viewers with a thought which Mr. Singh said in his intervention, that democratic India requires a credible opposition. Unfortunately, the Congress party is not fulfilling that responsibility. Let's leave it at that, gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time to speak to us. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. All right, time for a very short break. When we come back, we'll have all the updates from the flooded areas across the country. Keep watching Newsnight. Don't go anywhere.
पक्की होगी बुनियादें तो हंसे हिंदुस्तान होगा। पहल करो शुरुआत करो, करो तो पक्की बात करो। पहल करो शुरुआत करो, करो तो पक्की।
वनडे सीमेंट, एक परफेक्ट शुरुआत।
That's wild.
आधुनिक और आसान होते जा रहे हैं परिवार नियोजन के साधन, जैसे नया MPA इंजेक्शन। फोन करें और पाएं परिवार नियोजन से जुड़ी हर जानकारी। जोड़ी जिम्मेदार जो प्लान करे परिवार।
Welcome back. In news just coming in, 3 floors of a 5-story building collapsed at Kajalpura in Maha Tehsil of Raigad district. Around 70 people are feared trapped after the building, which is around 10 years old. So far, 25 persons have been rescued. The rescue and relief operations are in full swing. Meanwhile, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is tweeting, and I quote him here, "The collapse of the building in Raigad, Maharashtra is very tragic. Have spoken to DG NDRF to provide all possible assistance. Teams are on the way and will be assisting with the rescue operations as soon as possible, praying for everyone's safety." Unquote. All right, joining us on the phone line is my colleague Shishir Sinha. Shishir, in fact, it's Shishir Shelar. Shishir, let's fill us in on the details at this point in time.
Well, absolutely. The building which was collapsed and which was reported around 7 in the evening. Currently, the information we've got is that nearly 20 people have been rescued from it. These people have been injured and have been shifted to the nearby district hospital. But what is more worrying factor is that nearly more than that, around 20-30 people is what initially we've got to know. But the authorities are saying that probably the number might increase here. Still, these people are actually trapped inside the debris here. Currently, the local authorities have actually started the rescue operation, but the information that we receive is that they want some more equipment, the modern machineries that the NDRF have basically used during the rescue operation, and that's what actually is required at this point in time. Initially, first 2 hours are quite critical for this rescue operation, because what the officials are saying right now that nearly 2 to 3 the structures of these buildings have been collapsed here, and that's the reason people have been stuck inside. A few people of them have already got the information about it. They've seen here that the structure was actually moving, and that's the reason they came out of the building. And later on, the building was actually collapsed here. So few people have actually came out, and later on, the local authority have already rescued 20 people. But currently, nearly 20 to 30 or more than that people have been stuck inside at this point in time. Well, this building was not quite old. What we got to know is that nearly the building was almost 5 to 7 years old only. And that's the reason why this building has collapsed remains the main question here. But at this point in time, the main focus is on the rescue operation and evacuation. Those people have been, stuck inside here. That's what the authority is actually focusing on. The numbers are not clear at this point in time. What we got to know is that this building has almost 40 flats here, approximately 40 flats here, and few people already came out, and that's the reason. Right now, currently, how many people have been stuck inside, the number is not confirmed, but as we told you that the local authority swung into action along with the local people here. The local authority actually, along with some of the equipment that they've got, have started the rescue operation, and few people have been rescued. Those have been injured, as I told you, have been hospitalized for the nearby district hospital, but many more people are still trapped inside, and that's the reason. When the full rescue operation will start, we'll get to know the more details about it.
Right, so many more people are feared trapped, says my colleague Shishir Shelar on the phone line from Mumbai. Shishir, thank you for that, we appreciate it. Right, moving on, heavy rains inundated low-lying areas of Gujarat. Flood situation in Bihar remains grim as over 83 lakh people in 16 districts are affected. Meanwhile, UP government sets up 2,000 relief camps. The Met Department has issued a warning for the next 5 days.
Various parts of the country continue to grapple with heavy rains and floods. The situation remains grim in parts of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat and West Bengal. Beginning with Gujarat, heavy rainfall lashed several parts of the state, leading to flood-like situation and disrupting normal lives in many areas in the state. Saurashtra and Kutch received widespread rainfall. Due to incessant rains in Gujarat, the rivers are in spate. A red alert has been sounded in areas along the banks of rivers. The rains increased the inflow of water at Machu Dam in Morbi in the state. The 12 gates of Machu Dam were opened after it began overflowing. Many villages were submerged due to heavy rainfall in a number of tehsils. One NDRF team has been deployed in each tehsil. Primary schools have been converted into relief centers in the areas. Rajkot too received incessant rainfall, leading to waterlogging in several areas. NDRF teams have been deployed in the region to evacuate people from low-lying areas to safety. While Patan district has also received a good rainfall, leading to a rise in the water level of Rani Ki Vav or Queen's Stepwell. With increased rainfall activity, most of the dams in Gujarat are filled to capacity. An alert has also been sounded. 13 NDRF teams have been deployed across the state. In Bhuj too, life has been affected due to heavy rains. A part of BAPS Swaminarayan Temple, located in Gondal in Rajkot, stands partially submerged in rainwater. The flood situation in Bihar remains unchanged. The river Budi Gandak is flowing above the danger mark in Rosra and Khagadia. The river Bagmati is still flowing above the danger mark in Khatonja, Benibar and Hayaghat, while river Ganga is flowing above the red mark in Gandhi Ghat, in Patna, Hathidha and Kehelgaon. 1,333 panchayats and 130 blocks of 16 districts are flood affected in Bihar. 83 lakh people are affected by the deluge. A total of 26 NDRF and SDRF teams have been deployed for relief and rescue operations. According to State Water Resource Department, the water discharged from Kosi and Gandak barrages remained over 1.2 lakh cusecs on Monday. According to the Met Office, heavy rain in the catchment areas of Bagmati and Adhwara group of rivers in Nepal may result in increase in water levels in these rivers in Bihar.
हम लोग का तो बांध टूट गया सर, देखते हैं उस दिन से माल मवेशी सब खरला दिक्कत हो रहा है, घर अंगना में पानी ढुका हुआ है, कोई देखने वाला नहीं है, सरकार फसल भी सब चला गया, घर अंगना भस गया, मशीन उशीन जितना था आदमी को सब भस गया है।
माल मवेशी लेके वाटर ब्रिज पर रेलवे किनारे लोग बसे हुए हैं, एक पन्नी पॉलिथिन का व्यवस्था नहीं किया गया, अपना व्यवस्था करके किसी तरीका से हम लोग यहाँ रह रहे हैं।
पूरे दरभंगा जिला बाढ़ से ग्रसित हो गया है और हायाघाट प्रखंड भी बाढ़ से ग्रसित है। अकराहा जो रेलवे लाइन है, जो इस बांध से लेके और हायाघाट बाजार के बांध तक जो रेलवे लाइन के साइड में पूरे गांव के लोग बसे हुए हैं।
While in Uttar Pradesh, 1,166 villages in 17 districts are affected by floods. Sharda, Rapti and Saryu rivers are flowing above the danger mark. The Chief Minister has instructed the district magistrates of the flood-affected districts that the boats set up to provide relief to the flood-affected areas should not be damaged anywhere and be completely safe for shipping. 15 NDRF teams, 7 SDRF teams and PSE personnel have been deployed in flood-affected districts of the state for relief and rescue operations. The Met Department has predicted that widespread rainfall with isolated heavy to very heavy falls are very likely over Odisha, Gangetic West Bengal and Jharkhand during the next 3 to 4 days and over Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan from the 26th to the 28th of August. With inputs from Patna and Lucknow bureaus, News Night Desk, DD News.
All right, time now for all the news related to COVID-19 pandemic in India in our COVID Wrap segment.
India has tested over 3 crore 59 lakh so far, with 6,09,917 tests conducted in the last 24 hours. India is on its resolved drive to increase its testing capacity, with more patients recovering and being discharged from hospitals and home isolation. India's COVID-19 total recoveries have crossed 23 lakh. India's recovery rate amongst the COVID-19 patients has crossed 75%. The guiding principles and standard operating procedures on preventive measures for media production to contain the spread of COVID-19 released by Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is applicable to all media production, including shooting of films, television production, web series and all forms of content creation in the electronic and film medium. Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar tested positive for COVID-19 6 days after he had attended a meeting with Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, who was later found infected with the virus. He appealed to his colleagues and associates who came into contact over the last week to get themselves tested. He requested his close contacts to move into strict quarantine immediately. PM CARES Fund Trust allocates funds for establishment of 500-bed COVID-19 makeshift hospitals at Patna and Muzaffarpur in Bihar. Hospital at Bhita, Patna was inaugurated by Minister of State for Home Affairs Nityanand Rai.
हमेशा मानवता के पुजारी हिंदुस्तान ने पुनः माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में मानवता का पुजारी भारत है, इसको सिद्ध करते हुए पूरे दुनिया को सहयोग करने का काम माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किया है।
Lok Sabha MP from Patna Sahib, Ravi Shankar Prasad thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for allocating funds for 2 major COVID-19 hospitals for Patna and Muzaffarpur under the PM CARES Fund.
DRDO के द्वारा
पटना और मुजफ्फरपुर में 500 बेड का एक अस्पताल बहुत ही जल्दी बनाया जाएगा। तो ये बहुत ही बड़ा सहयोग है जो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पीएम केयर फंड से व्यवस्था कराई है।
Chief Executive Officer of the Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board, Ramesh Kumar, has said that all devotees coming from outside Union Territory of J&K for Vaishno Devi Yatra are requested to carry valid COVID-19 negative test report. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, Mangaluru City Corporation has come up with an alternative for people to register their grievances. The corporation has initiated registering public grievances online.
The nation paid tributes to late Minister Arun Jaitley, from blood donation drives to tweets remembering the tall leader. Here's how the remembrances played out.
The first death anniversary of late BJP stalwart and former Union Minister Arun Jaitley was observed on Monday. On 24th August last year, he had breathed his last. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to Mr. Jaitley. Venkaiah Naidu tweeted, "He was an outstanding parliamentarian, a distinguished lawyer, an efficient administrator, a skillful negotiator, and a thorough gentleman of impeccable integrity. His untiring efforts to build consensus on GST will be always remembered." Remembering Jaitley, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted, "Arunji diligently served India. His wit, intellect, legal acumen, and warm personality were legendary." He shared a video of his speech at the condolence meeting organized in his memory last year.
वे सर्व मित्र थे, वे सर्व प्रिय थे, और वे अपनी प्रतिभा के कारण, अपने पुरुषार्थ के कारण, अपने प्रभाव के कारण जिसको भी जहां पर भी उपयोगी हो सकते थे, वे हमेशा उपयोगी होते थे। अब पल भर के लिए कल्पना कीजिए, मेरे जैसे व्यक्ति का क्या होता होगा जिसने ऐसे प्रतिभावान साथी को खोया होगा, जिसका वर्णन हम लगातार सुन रहे हैं। कितनी बड़ी कमी महसूस होती होगी, शायद उसको शब्दों में मैं वर्णन नहीं कर सकता हूं, लेकिन प्रतिपल अनुभव करता हूं।
On Arun Jaitley's first death anniversary, blood donation camps were organized at AIIMS in Delhi, among other places. BJP President JP Nadda, Union Ministers Prakash Javadekar, Dharmendra Pradhan, Dr. Harshvardhan, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and Delhi BJP President Adesh Gupta were among the BJP leaders who visited the blood donation camps. Arun Jaitley's daughter Sangeeta Jaitley and son Rohan Jaitley were present at the camps. Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad organized a webinar in memory of the departed soul.
आज अरुण जी की कमी हम लोग को बहुत महसूस होती है। सरकार में, संसद में मीडिया को कैसे हैंडल करना है, ये अरुण जी हम लोग को बहुत सिखाते थे। और हमेशा हम लोग को एक बात कहते थे, पढ़ा करो, स्टडी रिफॉर्म्स, स्टडी गवर्नेंस।
Remembering the late former finance minister, incumbent finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman penned an op-ed in a national daily. She wrote, "The late former finance minister Arun Jaitley shall always be remembered for his contribution in making India a single market." Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla tweeted, "I pay my homage to former finance minister Arun Jaitley on his death anniversary." Home Minister Amit Shah tweeted, "Remembering Arun Jaitley ji, an outstanding politician, prolific orator and a great human being who had no parallels in Indian polity. He was multifaceted and a friend of friends." Defence Minister Rajnath Singh tweeted, "Jaitley ji was a stalwart who made a big contribution towards BJP's growth and rise to power." Environment and INB Minister Prakash Javadekar tweeted, paid floral tributes to former Union Minister Shri Arun Jaitley ji on his Punya Tithi. Arun Jaitley breathed his last on the same day last year after prolonged illness. He was among the main strategists of the party. With inputs from Shailendra Mishra in Delhi, News Night Desk, DD News.
Now take a look at what else is making news around India in our National Roundup segment.
Prashant Bhushan has refused to give an unconditional apology in the contempt of court case. In a supplementary statement to the Supreme Court, Bhushan said that he expressed himself in good faith, not to malign the Supreme Court or any particular Chief Justice, but to offer constructive criticisms. BJP party workers staged a protest demonstration outside the assembly premises in Thiruvananthapuram, calling for the resignation of Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan in the infamous Kerala gold smuggling case. Union Minister V. Muralidharan has slammed the passage of a resolution opposing the development of Trivandrum International Airport through PPP by Kerala Assembly. He said that this proves that Kerala CM and Congress have failed to gauge the mood of the people who are for development and growth. Former Judge of Supreme Court and Head of Delimitation Commission Ranjan Desai today inaugurated the Office of Delimitation Commission in New Delhi. On the occasion, Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora, Election Commissioners Ashok Lavasa and Sushil Chandra marked their presence. The Supreme Court disposed of as infructuous a BJP MLA's plea seeking stay on Rajasthan Speaker's decision, which allowed 6 BSP MLAs to merge with the Congress in view of the High Court order. The Rajasthan High Court has asked the Speaker to decide on merit the plea against the merger of 6 BSP MLAs with the ruling Congress. The Delhi High Court permitted a trial court to hear arguments on framing of charges in the then Chief Secretary Anshu Prakash assault case, in which Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and his deputy Manish Sisodia were made accused. The Delhi High Court allowed an application by the then Chief Secretary and modified its March 14, 2019 order by which the trial court was directed not to hear arguments on the charges. The condition of Pranab Mukherjee remains unchanged. He is deeply comatose and is being treated for respiratory infection. His vital parameters are stable and he continues to be on ventilatory support. The much-awaited ropeway service from Guwahati to North Guwahati over River Brahmaputra was opened for public from today. This is the country's longest river ropeway service, covering a distance of 2 kilometers from South Bank to North Bank of River Brahmaputra, and will cover the distance in 7 minutes. This is also the longest river ropeway in Asia. Jammu and Kashmir's Riyasi district will soon come up with the world's highest railway bridge. The bridge would be 35 meters taller than Eiffel Tower and 1.3 kilometers long. The bridge will connect Kashmir Valley with Katra and Jammu and the rest of the country.
To international news now, Team Trump is all prepared for presidential race 2020. Campaigning has begun and is going on in full swing. Advisor to Team Trump tweeted a video highlighting the relationship between India and the US. The tweet read, and I quote here, "America enjoys a great relationship with India and our campaign enjoys great support from Indian Americans," unquote. Now, the video showcased the great camaraderie between President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
He needs no introduction. His name comes up in almost every conversation. The President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump. Mr. President, you had introduced me to your family in 2017, and today I have the honor to introduce you to my family.
With the US presidential election just 2 months away, campaigning has become more aggressive. Republican delegates are in Charlotte for the Republican National Convention, which will officially nominate Donald Trump as the Republican candidate for the 2020 election. Later this week, the convention will witness speeches from First Lady Melania Trump and others. President Trump will address the business portion of the convention in a live acceptance speech on Thursday. The theme of the convention will be honoring the great American story, and President Trump will be the central focus of it all. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hosted US Foreign Minister Mike Pompeo in Jerusalem. Pompeo was on his first visit to the region after the signing of the Abraham Accord. Addressing a joint press conference, Netanyahu expressed confidence in the U.S. role for maintaining peace in the region.
Over 4 decades of peace with Egypt, 2.5 decades of peace with Jordan, the United States stood by that commitment, and I have no doubt that it will continue to do so.
And Pompeo reiterated Washington's stance that it will ensure that Iran does not get hold of nuclear weapons. He said it will fulfill its commitment towards both Israel and the United Arab Emirates.
President Trump's made clear Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and we are determined to use every tool that we have to ensure that they can't get access to high-end weapon systems. The Prime Minister spoke to the security commitments that were made. The United States has a legal requirement with respect to qualitative military edge. We will continue to honor that. But we have a 20-plus year security relationship with the United Arab Emirates as well, where we have provided them with technical assistance and military assistance. We will now continue to review that process to continue to make sure that we're delivering them with the equipment that they need to secure and defend their own people from this same threat from the Islamic Republic of Iran as well. We are deeply committed to doing that, to achieving that, and we'll do it in a way that preserves our commitment to Israel as well.
And now for some quick updates on the COVID front from across the world. South Korea's capital, Seoul, has mandated wearing of face masks in both indoor and outdoor public spaces for the first time as the country registers a spike in COVID-19 cases. The government has also banned in-person church meetings, nightclubs and cyber cafes. South Korea has more than 17,000 cases of the virus and over 300 facilities. Australian state of Victoria has reported lowest daily rise in COVID-19 cases. Australia has COVID-19 cases exceeding 24,000 with more than 500 fatalities. New Zealand has extended the current coronavirus restrictions in Auckland until the night of August 30th. The recent upsurge in COVID-19 cases in the city of Auckland had forced government to impose lockdown, which was scheduled to end on August 26. Now, COVID-19 has infected around 1,600 people in New Zealand, claiming more than 22 lives. Despite strict COVID-19 induced restrictions, Spaniards continue to see a steady rise in novel coronavirus cases. Authorities in Madrid have advised people to stay at home. So far, the virus has infected over 4 lakh people and claimed more than 28,000 lives in the country. The World Health Organization's Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has asked countries to come together to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. Addressing the media, he said that last week he sent a letter to all member states requesting them to join the vaccine arm of the ACT Accelerator, and 172 countries responded positively and are now engaging with the COVAX Global Vaccines Facility.
172 countries are now engaging with the COVAX Global Vaccines Facility, which has both the largest and most diverse COVID-19 vaccine portfolio in the world. At present, there are 9 vaccines that are part of this dynamic portfolio, which is constantly being reviewed and optimized to ensure access to the best possible range of products. Even now, discussions are ongoing with 4 more producers, and a further 9 vaccines are currently under evaluation for the longer term.
And that's a wrap, but news continues here on DD India and DD News. You can catch all the latest updates on our social media, mobile and digital platforms. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.